5:09 a.m. in the morning, very early, and it's been a while since I spoke to you. But this morning, I wanted to tell you that I have contacted my mom for the first time. It was brief, but it was quite emotional, I must tell you. And I did not see her. I will tell you exactly how it went. I may also add some things about my thoughts on losing someone close to you when you have the kind of access that I have. But first, let me get to it. I was listening to NPR. This will sound familiar to many of you who have listened to my experiences because generally I usually have some kind of sound in the background. Normally it's storm sounds, especially if I'm focused and attempting to do something. This morning I was not, actually. I was just resting. And again, this is a lesson for all of you who want to have experiences, not to focus so much on having that experience or those experiences. Though I will tell you that I was definitely, I think, some part of me felt that this was coming. Like it was there. It was going to get there at some point. I knew that I would have some sort of contact with my mom. After she passed, it was kind of like, maybe you can call it like radio silence to a certain extent. I'm certain that there were people out there that listened to this channel that were thinking, well, he'll just be able to reach out to his mom. I want to tell you that things don't necessarily work as simply as that. Well, with me anyway. And I'm just putting it out there just in case if you happen to have that kind of access and you lose someone close to you, this may happen to you too. I don't know. But for me, after I lost my mom, it was like I was grounded, like literally grounded, like I wasn't going anywhere. I mean, I had a few experiences when I was in Oregon. My mom passed away in Oregon. And I had a few experiences when I was staying in her old place, but they weren't experiences where I was connecting with her, literally connecting with her. So this was the first experience where I actually could hear her voice, and she sounded amazing. But let me get into it. Let me tell you guys what happened. I mean, I like I said, I was listening to NPR, and at some point as I was sitting there listening, I went into that middle space, and of course, I had the sound up so loud that I could still hear the NPR. I could still hear it loud and clear, but I knew I was in the middle of an experience, and I began. I went off the left side of the bed and I started turning, sort of like, I've said this before, there's this motion that I have where it's almost like as if you started rolling down a hill, like if you pulled your arms up or in and started rolling down the hill. That's what it was like to a certain extent. I felt myself, I felt as if I was rolling across the ground really, really fast. Really fast. I mean, I was tumbling over and over and over again. And then suddenly I felt my mom's hand. I knew it was my mom's hand. Now, by the way, guys, I couldn't see anything at this point. This was just a connection that I felt. At first, I just felt the hand, and then I felt into it because there are other beings that can just take your hand. Any being, well, not any being, but there are other beings that could possibly take your hand that wouldn't be someone that you know. But when I took my mom's hand, I knew it was her. I knew it was her, and I stopped tumbling. And it was so emotional, because I just told her, I love you so much and I miss you so much. And she she said something along the lines of, how could you not think I was gonna be with you? It's so interesting. Since she's been gone, one of the things that she left me was her car, which is so interesting. She told me, she's like, well, you could sell the car and all this other stuff. And I was like, Mom, I will never sell this car. I would say it's an older car. It's like a 94 or something. I'm sure some of you are sitting out there going, 94. But I'm telling you, this car is in perfect condition. Perfect. It is perfect. I drove it from Oregon to Los Angeles. I drove it up Mount Shasta, where I scattered my mother's remains. And it was snowing, and this car turned over, as my mom would say, like a top. I mean, it just kept turning over. And by the way, it still runs. Still runs perfectly, of course. But so whenever I'm driving, I'm always, talking with her, or, about work or whatever, And I'll always get this sense that Mom is with me, in my head, speaking to me, saying things, whatever. But then there would also be times where I'll be sitting there thinking, especially because I wasn't really touching base with Mom, I'd be thinking to myself, is she really there? Is she just, me being me, and just questioning things. It's so interesting. I know I've created this channel, the Astral Plane and Beyond, and I tell you, one of the things, and I think I've talked about this, I may have talked about this before, but even after I began astral projecting, it took a while for me to really start to believe that what I was doing was something beyond the body. So, yeah, I've always been kind of like that. It always takes a lot to convince me of something. And the fact is that when my mom, when I took my mom's hand, which again, when you're taking someone's hand like that, I think in astral projection or any kind of another experience, your brain is translating stuff. And for me, taking a hand means connecting with someone. For you, it might be something different, but for me, that's what it means. And when I took my mom's hand and I was telling her how much I love her and how much I miss her, and she's like, of course I am with you. Of course I am with you. Of course I told you I was going to be with you, and she is. And our conversation ended up being brief. It was interesting because one of the things I'd wanted to ask her was how things were out there. How are things in the beyond? And funny enough, as soon as I asked her this question, her voice went down. Like I could barely hear it. Suddenly I couldn't hear what she was saying. It was as if someone had turned the volume down. But of course, NPR was still up. The volume was still up. And I remember one of the things my mom said was, you need to get away from, I think she said the TV, which, I wasn't listening to the TV. Maybe from her perception, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure how she would perceive things on that side. I'm uncertain. At this point, it doesn't really matter to me. It was just great to hear her voice. It was great to hear her voice, and it was great to be able to tell her how much I loved her and how much I missed her. And I think she's doing great out there. Anyway, I wanted to share this with you. I haven't really spoken to anyone else about it, and there are a few people that I will tell, but I wanted to talk with you first and let you know, yes, I have made contact with my mom, and please feel free in the comments if you have questions, especially those of you who are younger. And I want to reach out to you because I know that there are folks that listen to me that are younger, that are scared, afraid of death, afraid of losing people. Feel free to reach out to me, and I will do my best to respond to you, to answer your questions if I can. I don't know if I would be able to be honest, but I will do my best to at least share with you my experiences and to try and help in any way that I can. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on this journey with me, and thank you for always being there. I love you guys. Take care.